for fans who would hear you didn't come out the way you wanted. How does that happen, do you think, in round one, given there's always so much focus to start the season, right?
Well, I think there's variables in it. I mean, the game was just such a different game in the sense that it was, first 20 minutes was quite dry. I thought they handled the ball well. I thought our pressure to get at them was below par for us. I think that can certainly ramp up a fair bit. And when we do play our best football, we certainly attack the opposition with vigour and create turnovers, and it wasn't there that we would have liked, but on the flip side, it was as clean as I've seen a team for a long time with Gold Coast across half back and through the midfield. So their strengths, unfortunately, we couldn't quite dissect that or bring that down to give us an advantage at times.
Your on the road record last year obviously wasn't one that you were happy with, and I think it was 5 games you lost under 10 points. Obviously it's a very similar story we saw on the weekend. How do you nip that in the bud early and ensure that doesn't continue through the year?
Yeah, I guess in terms of the bigger picture, we're probably not looking at it right now in the sense that we've got a game on Friday night against Geelong, so we're certainly focused on that. The only thing you could say from I guess a growth factor is that we have improved over the last 12 to 18 months in terms of the margins, but we're really disappointed. Like we spoke last year, we want to improve our away record, and I think the pleasing thing from us, from a playing and a coaching point of view, is, like I said before, the expectations externally are just catching up to ours. We've put a massive amount of pressure on us. We think we can be a lot better than what we've performed at times, and it's there was stages last year that we displayed that, and I think we caught the attention of the public, and so the expectations have come. But we're certainly a step or two ahead of most people. The
Suns seemed to come out with a little bit of aggression and didn't mind a bit of a scuffle. Was there an intimidation factor there that they sort of brought to the table that again contributed to you being caught off at guard at the start of the game?
No, I didn't actually really even pick that up. I thought it was just a normal game in the sense that there's always a little bit of pushing and shoving early, so it's something that I haven't factored in.
Hindsight's a wonderful thing, and obviously the condition changed as the match went on. Could you maybe have gone in a bit small in hindsight?
Oh, look, tools are still really important in the wet weather. You still need to compete and get that ball to ground, so that's important. We generally haven't gone in small. Most times we'll play 3 taller defenders or 3 taller forwards, and I thought our defenders were outstanding really on the night. It was just such an interesting game. When you look at the key forwards from both teams, the coaches was the only one that registered a point. The others didn't. But I thought in terms of us competing and getting that ball to ground, I thought that was reasonably solid. It was more ground level, whether we didn't quite get onto the back of bodies as quick as we would have liked, or put that pressure on the Gold Coast smaller defenders or midfielders getting down.
Chase Soligo was sub. Was that part of the fact that he had a little bit of an interrupted pre-season with the ankle, or was that just purely a match-up thing? And then also, is he more likely, do you think, to earn a spot in the starting 22 this week?
Jake's in our best 22, but he only played about 30 minutes, a little bit over 30 minutes in the pre-season, and because it was an ankle, he basically was off it for nearly 3 to 4 weeks too. So he hadn't quite had the leading that we would have liked. The other boys we played a rock hard fit. They were ready to go. And look, he was good. He showed a little bit when he came on in the second half. He obviously won that wonderful contest around centre half forward late in the game and got it forward for Rankin's goal. But he was probably still a little bit scratchy. He can go up another level or two, and he's one of our exciting players that we do have on the list.
You touch on Taylor Walker out there just then. Is he in good shape to return to the lineup Friday night?
Yeah, he's going okay. But it's one of these stages. We'll just have to see him probably in full training more so before we make any decisions on selection. But obviously, we made the right decision not to play him on the weekend when he wasn't quite right. So it's it's always hard with little niggles and little backs when you get these injuries. They can really come good within 1 or 2 days, and sometimes they can just linger for 4 or 5. But at this stage, he's on track to play Friday night.
You touch on the margins. Obviously, last year, did it feel a little bit of deja vu? Last year, you had plenty of games where you looked out of it and then scored 3 or 4 goals sort of the start of the 4th quarter and then got so close. Did it feel like a bit of Groundhog Day from a few games you had last year?
The games I remember last year were more in those games. You talk about the Collingwoods and Melbournes, even Giants, I think, were up at half time, round 1 last year. So this was a game where I felt we were out of it. And like Nixie said in his post-match press conference that, they're a lot better than us on the night, and somehow we've only lost by 6 points. So I saw this game different in terms of your 5 or 6 goals down in the wet with 1 quarter to go. You've certainly been outplayed.
Just back on Tex, anything aside, but obviously miss a 70 goal a year forward. But from a coaching point of view, is there any concern yet that you do still seem to be really reliant on him, and maybe a Fogarty or the likes haven't quite been able to step up yet in the absence of Tex when he's missed.
Yeah, I don't know what the record is, to tell you the truth, when Tex is out, what our record is in terms over the last probably 12 to 18 months, because if you're going back further than that, it's, you know, we're certainly in that rebuilding stage with youth everywhere. No, we're more than ready to take over if Tex is out. I guess it's compounded when you have Riley out as well, though. So you've got your two big key forwards that are out, which is, you know, any team, if you probably looked at Carlton with McKay and Kerno, it makes a difference. But Fogg I thought he's really turned it around since I've been at the club anyway. He competes week in, week out. He just didn't get the result on the weekend in terms of ball in hand maybe or shots on goal, but he's certainly one that I thought on the weekend, out of all the key forwards, I thought he competed as well as anyone.
Just on your earlier answer, Reed Tex, is there an element of it that's still possibly lingering? I know you spoke last week about wanting to, you know, it's a long season and having that view, but is there still a part of that might be lingering?
On my understanding, I don't think it is, but I haven't seen him obviously since we only got back yesterday and haven't seen him this morning. But according to the info we got like 1 or 2 days ago, that he's on target to play on Friday night.
Well, one man who's always hard to match up on is Jeremy Cameron. We saw that pretty extraordinary goal he kicked on the weekend. Who do you think is the best place to match up? Is it Josh Worrell, or do you have other options?
Yeah, that's a good one that we'll have to go through in match committee. We've in the past, Nick Murray's gone to him and done quite reasonably well. Jeremy still plays some pretty good football against us. Yeah, look, the best players are always hard matchups. It doesn't matter if they're key forwards or small forwards or even gun mids. They're always hard to stop. And but I mean, the main thing we'd probably want from a team point of view, and you'll hear this all the time, and it is a little bit gets repetitive probably for you. But if you get pressure through the midfield and they don't have access to easy balls, it makes it harder for any forward to get it on their terms.
Mark Keane, why did he not play?
Well, he only played about 10 minutes too, so he obviously got knocked out early in that Port game and had a really good pre-season. You know, he's changed his body shape a bit too, I think, over the 12 months he's been here. He's reasonably fit, but it was just match fitness in the sense that it's 10 minutes of a trial game going into round one, and we had to be careful. We had Butts and Miller coming back into the team that had only probably played 3 quarters as well. So whether we wanted to do that with Keane, have another one, but at the other end though, Borlase has been really solid, and he's deserved his opportunity to play round one.